Hello and welcome back to another episode of Girls in the Grandstand. If you're watching on YouTube, you will see that Kay is not here this week. She is currently still sunning it up in America, having a wonderful time out there. So we brought our good friend Perry back on for a special edition of Girls in the Grandstand today. We might pre-warn you that this will mostly be about Lando. So if you're not a Lando or McLaren fan, then you might want to skip this one.
Yeah.
But how do we feel about that race, guys?
I'm still, did I dream it? Is it a dream? Just, oh. Anyway, welcome back, Perry. It's nice to have you back on.
Thank you very much. Yes, thank you for inviting me back as an honorary girl in the grandstand. Yeah, it was a good race, wasn't it? This one.
What a race for you to join us, Perry. I know that Kay is very, very, very upset that she has been on holiday for this race.
I was initially I couldn't join, and I was gutted. I thought, oh, that would have been such a good one, and then luckily last minute I was able to, and I was like, yes, I get to talk about Lando Norris and his first win finally coming.
Oh gosh, I'm not ashamed to admit that I cried a lot on Sunday night.
Yeah, I'll go there. Yeah.
I did with Pierre in Monza when he won. But it's such a different when you see your driver win their first race.
Yeah.
And for Miami, it gave me the feel of Pierre Gasly's win because everyone was correct. Going up to Lando, giving him a hug, saying well done. He's so loved in that paddock.
Yeah,
he really, really deserved that on Sunday.
Yeah, I think it definitely goes to show that what we see as fans is how he is. He's down to earth. He's a great guy. And I think that showed on Sunday with all of his congratulations from all of his fellow drivers and everybody else in the paddock, really. Everyone was just so genuinely happy to see him win. It was emotional. It was wonderful. I don't think I'll stop smiling for a really long time.
No, it was good to be back in the office today with my talking straight away, seeked out my MD, who's a Red Bull fan, went, oh, did you see the race? Did you see the race? He was happy. So many people were, as you say, really happy for Lando. It was a very popular win. And I've seen a few comments online, obviously just ignore them. A few people trying to ruin it for us, but obviously we're just on this high and just enjoy it and ride it out and let them be petty. We've got our win finally.
I know, so happy. I'll be honest, I don't really remember much of anything else.
It's just Lando. It's just Lando.
I think I lost count of the amount of penalties Magnussen racked up over the weekend.
What is going on with that guy? Has he given up because he's not coming back next season and he just wants a race ban, or is he just out to cause havoc?
I have no idea what he was playing at the weekend, to be honest. I think, like I said, I lost count of how many penalties he actually did get across the weekend, because he got a couple in the sprint race and then he had a couple in the main race, I think.
I think it was just the one in the main race, but I think in total he got 35 seconds worth of penalties. And he's on 10 for the 12-month period now. I think he got about 8, it feels like, just in Miami.
Just this weekend, yeah, I know. I have no words.
He said he did it for the team as well. And I was like, yeah, come on the radio and say you need to do that. He just took it upon himself and just woke up on Saturday and went, I'm going to be a menace today. And he woke up Sunday and went, yeah, and today as well. I fancy a second.
I don't know whether he's thinking, he's got no contract under his belt yet. He's just trying to prove to the team, I'll play the team game. I'll be a team player. Maybe, I don't know, maybe that's why he knows that Hulkenberg's leaving at the end of this season. So I don't know. I can't explain it.
See, I thought it was the opposite. We know it's pretty likely Oliver Behrman's going to come in and take Hulkenberg's seat. Now, they're not going to want to put a rookie, I know it's done one race, put a rookie in without an experience. They've done that, they've tried it, and it's not worked. So they're going to want to keep an experienced person like Magnussen. So I feel like it's more the other way. He's certain of his seat. He feels like, well, they won't get rid of me. As you say, they're also doing that. I can play the team game, and yeah, more sure of his seat. He's saying, well, let's have some fun with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's just
He's keeping us
it.
entertained. So you can't complain at him for that.
No. I was very unhappy for Oscar at the weekend, as happy as I was for Lando. Oscar deserved a lot more out of what he got on Sunday. He had a really good weekend up until the safety car, really.
Yeah, he was up there. I sort of took a bit of stick because I said, oh, he should be up there. He should be matching Norris, or Norris should be matching him. But he was more consistent, I think, to begin the weekend. And as you say, he was running second up until that safety car, and then Sainz wasn't happy, and yeah, we won't talk about that.
We'll go into that bit.
Not happy would be an understatement, I think, of what Carlos was like in that moment.
I think it was the colour of his t-shirt underneath the helmet.
Yeah. He definitely did go on about that a bit, didn't he?
Bless him. He's just having a wonderful time at the minute.
I mean, he's another one, really, isn't he? He's having his sort of villain era at the moment, Carlos. He's just going for it completely at every race. He needs to secure himself a seat for next year, though, doesn't he? While he's waiting for Audi to join in 2026. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think he could get that Red Bull after the start on Sunday from Perez. He was literally an inch away from hitting Max. I was just like, what's going on here?
He nearly took like 2 people out, and he rejoined straight in front of Lando, which meant that he had to back out, and whoever was behind him had to back out. And I was just like, I was a bit annoyed that they didn't take any further action on that one, but at the same time, turn 1, lap 1, you know.
I don't know how he didn't collect someone, not Verstappen, but how he managed to go completely across the track, taking someone.
No one went into the back of it.
Saturday.
I know. When you saw his onboard, though, he looked so much closer to Max than it looked like from outside.
Apparently, I read somewhere that he actually scratched the diffuser on Verstappen's car. It was that close.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Few choice words of Horner if he'd done any more than that.
Oh, God.
But, yeah. What did you think of the start on Saturday? The other incident or incidents.
Well, I was not very happy. I think when I saw it initially at the start of the race, I saw a car off the track, and I knew I'd seen a McLaren. Yeah. And then the commentators were just like, "We think it was a McLaren." I said, "Yes, it was." And I was shouting at my TV, and I was like, "I bet it's Lando." And then they said, "Oh dear, it's Lando." And I was like, "Obviously, it's Lando." And then when they said, "We think Lance Stroll's involved," I was like, "Well,
that's not a surprise, is it?"
Obviously, he's involved somehow.
Yeah, he has this trick where he goes into turn 1. He's on the left-hand side. He's on the outside of the track, and he just goes, "I'm sure no one's around me, and I'll just head straight for the apex." Sure enough, there's someone there.
Yeah, I think Lewis also did go in there a bit hot as well. I think it was a mixture of the two of them that really sealed that for Lando and for Fernando as well.
Yeah, a combination of the two. If one didn't happen, the other one still would have.
Yeah. I think they can both take a little bit of the blame on that one. It was good to see Daniel Ricciardo up there in 4th for the sprint. It's a shame that he couldn't continue that for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, it was weird, wasn't it? The two sides of Ricciardo, fourth sprint, suddenly out in Q1, and I think he was about 25 seconds behind Tsunoda in the main race. So in the Grand Prix. So yeah, jury's still out on whether it was a good or bad weekend, and whether this new chassis has fixed it for him.
Yeah, I think he needed to keep it consistent this weekend from Saturday into Sunday. I think he's obviously got, in the team that he's in and their history, he's definitely got a lot of eyes on him at the moment. So it'd be I'll be quite upset to see him replaced if that happens, but for me, since he sort of joined McLaren and onwards, he's not really been at the level that he used to be. I don't really know where it's gone wrong for him along the way. Leaving Red Bull, probably.
Yeah, I think leaving Red Bull that really messed him up. He never really found his spot again after that. It's like he left Red Bull not to be a second driver to Max, but he hasn't really found anywhere else that's like Red Bull. So what does he actually do now? Does he stay or does he go?
I'm sure he didn't think that he goes, because surely then Liam gets his shot.
See, I'm like, I don't know about this. I was talking to my friend in New Zealand about this the other day. She was like, as much as we would love him in a car now, I do not want him in a car halfway through the season. He has not drove a car since last season. He can't do the rookie sessions because technically he's not a rookie anymore. So he can't get in a car until he physically has a seat. And I think putting him in the seat halfway through the season is too much pressure for him. There was already too much pressure on him when he got in the car to replace Danny. So I think if they're going to give him the seat, I say give Danny the rest of the year and then decide what they want to do going forward. But I don't know. I'd do anything to have him in a seat, but
Red Bull will do what Red Bull will do.
That's it. My only issue is if Danny does go and say Sainz goes to Red Bull, does that mean he's gone completely from the sport?
Yeah, it's hard to. If they're going to replace him at RB or whatever we're calling that team, then I can't see Red Bull putting him in the main team. And I don't really know where else he would fit now. The same as last year, how he was left without a seat. I don't know where else he would fit if he did get replaced for, another seat, any more time in F1. It's a shame to say.
Yeah, I think when he went to RB, if he'd been outstanding and put Tsunoda in his place, maybe he'd be considered. They go, right, he's got one last shot. But as we're sort of saying, Sainz is looking like he's got options. Red Bull's certainly one of those that he's talking to. Mercedes perhaps, or Carlos has got the choices, whereas Ricciardo, there's a few other drivers that are just sat there almost waiting and hoping. But I agree. I think if it's now where Ricciardo is, it's RB or it's nowhere.
Yeah, and that's horrible to think that you won't see him in the sport again. He's that guy around the paddock, and it would be weird to see him not there. But there's loads of drivers with no contracts yet, so anyone's going to take a bet on him when you've got other drivers in the field that are proving themselves at the minute.
It's still just so wide open on the driver market for next year as well.
I'm sick of seeing the rumours. If I see one more Pierre Gasly to Williams, I'm going to hit something. I don't want that. No, I'd rather him stay at Alpine and struggle than go to Williams.
I mean, the way that the Alpine car's going, he might be better off at Williams.
Oh, dear.
Done with that car this year. Done. Well, actually done with it.
I was going to shine a positive light and say Alpine, well done to them. They got their first point this weekend.
Oh, yeah, they did. That is true.
We're trying, Jen. We're trying.
Yeah, I think the safety car was the main issue for Pierre because he literally came into tyres like 2 laps before the safety car. So I think
Yeah.
that messed him up a lot. Whereas Ocon obviously paid under the safety car. So he was the one that being able to get points. But as for the sprint race, I think he did really well in the sprint race to get up to 10th place. So you've got to look at the positives and see like the car is getting better, but it's not there yet.
It did
So
seem to perform a lot better in Miami.
I know that Pierre got some upgrades this weekend. So that was a major positive this weekend, but it's still not anywhere where it should be. We shouldn't be fighting to get out of Q1. Because I was ready for bed after he was in P19 in Q1. I was like, right, I'm going to bed. And then suddenly he's putting it up to P5. Like, what's going on there for him to shoot it up there, but he can't do it in the race? It's very confusing at the minute.
Yeah, well, that was only the 6th race, so we've got a lot of time for them to. They might do what McLaren did last season. Get towards the end of this half of the season and be right up there fighting. You never know.
That's it. You've got to keep positive, or try to at least.
Yeah, try to.
Try to.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. Obviously, most teams bring like little bits of upgrades. They bring a few parts. As we say, Alpine had a few bits to try and Gasly's car, but no one seems to be able to crack it quite like McLaren at the moment, where they just go, bang, here's 10
upgrades in one.
Yeah.
They all work as well. Like
I know, it's great.
Like Mercedes are just throwing bits of the car, just going, let's see what sticks, let's see if this works. And
yeah,
and in the McLaren have that correlation. I think that's the big thing that other teams are missing at the moment. Hopefully Alpine will get that as well. That correlation between bringing parts and then working immediately.
Yeah. Yeah, Mercedes are still very up and down at the moment, aren't they? They'll have a good session and then the next session as they come back in, it's completely gone again. It's like, how has it changed so much?
They just, I don't know how to explain it. They frustrate me every weekend. I'm not a Mercedes fan, obviously. But, but I still want to see them, like 2021, you still want to see them recover from it. But they've just taken this role of, oh, well, everyone hates us anyway. It's been 2.5, well, 2.25 seasons. And they just seem to be like in their, you said earlier about Carlos Sainz in his villain era. And they seem to be in that stage. It's like, well, nothing's working. We don't know. Oh, we need help. Oh, we need to do this. Oh, we're trying everything, but nothing's working. Like, they seem out of ideas. I just think they just seem to be experimenting or throwing Hamilton on hard tyres to start the race. And yeah, I just don't understand.
No. Maybe all they can do this season now is just keep experimenting to try and help themselves next year. Who knows? It depends whether they're planning on bringing any actual big decent upgrades or whether they're just going to keep trying little bits here and there to see if it makes any difference. Only time will tell.
I loved Max though. I loved how like happy he was for Lando when he was doing the interview. He was just like, "Oh yeah, you win some, you lose some. It's fine." It's like, I mean, Max 2 years ago wouldn't have said this. Like.
No. But he has had a lot of wins since then, and he probably knows deep down that this was probably, unless something goes drastically wrong, this could be like the only chance that that Lando will have this season for a win. So it was just nice how everyone was just so happy, when they were when they got out of the cars and they were getting ready for the podium, and the drivers were all coming up and coming over to Lando to actually, say, well done. It was just, it was very emotional, guys.
That was emotional, like 11 o'clock at night.
Oh,
I must admit, like, I was scared when Alex went off. I was like, don't you dare put a safety car out. Don't you dare. So I can't imagine what you guys are like.
I was just like, I just want a nice, calm and relaxed last 20 laps of this race, please. And then I felt like it was the longest second part of a race ever. It seemed to go on really forever. And then the last lap, I was just like, "What? How long is this lap? Why is this lap so long?"
I don't know the radio message that Piastri got when they said, Lando's winning this race.
Yeah.
Not bring out a safety.
That was a bit mean. Like,
behave yourself.
That was finish 19th, please.
He did well to get back up to 13th from last after he'd pitted. But yeah, he definitely deserved a hell of a lot better than 13th.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but that's racing, isn't it?
You can't always win.
Unfortunately. If we could pick who was always on the podium.
Oh, yeah.
Then Lando would have a lot of wins. He'd be world champion for the past 3 years.
Okay.
More wins than.
But yeah. It was just great. It's still great.
I'm still reeling in it.
All of the the race finished and all the congratulations and everything finished, and there was this big gap where they have to go to the podium in Miami in like the little golf buggies, and I sort of calmed myself down, and then the podium started, and then I was off again. Sat there in the middle of my living room floor listening to our national anthem and watching him on the podium, and I'm just sobbing my little eyes out.
It was so special. Like,
it was very special.
I would have loved like his dad, his mom, his sister to have been there, like of all the races for them not to go to.
I know, it's a shame.
Go to Miami. They're all sat at home watching it. But I'm glad he got his first win. He's done it now. People can shut up.
People won't shut up.
Situations. Nobody will ever shut up about Lando. He's always the one that does something wrong.
I don't know. He can't do no right, can he? Most of the time, I don't get it. But I also, on the other side of things, don't read it, don't listen to it. If people feel like that they need to be like that, then let them carry on.
That's the thing, is that we said within the paddock this is a popular win, but unfortunately, with the way people are, that being popular actually puts a target on your back instead, and it's like a outlet for jealousy, and that's what sometimes I think that the no wins comment can get in the bin now. And I think people saying that anyway knew that he should have won in Russia.
No, you said it. We don't talk about that. That
doesn't mention that. We're not allowed to talk about that.
We're not allowed to talk. I should have warned you. That's a rule. We don't mention that. Do not mention that.
That race didn't happen.
It didn't. It never happened. It doesn't exist.
Why does this happen when I come on podcast? I say something, but that race, he should have won that one. But then also, how many times did he come second to Verstappen? And that guy came second to Ricciardo in Monza when McLaren got the ones.
Yeah,
he's been there. He's deserved this win long before 110 races.
Yeah. So I don't understand the people that say, oh, he's so overrated. I mean, obviously, okay, there is some bias here because I am a Lando fan and proud. But if you just look at, like you said, where he's been consistently on the podium or at the front of the whole midfield pack, it just baffles me how people can say that, that he's not talented, because there's so much evidence that he is. It's so frustrating. It frustrates me.
As you say, you just got to go, well, you know what? Your opinion isn't going to change, and it doesn't affect me. Or it doesn't
No, well, I mean, it doesn't change my opinion of him, and it never will, But yeah, like you said, it is probably a lot of jealousy, isn't it? And yeah,
Unfortunately.
but yeah, nothing will spoil my happiness.
I'll be happy now until the next race.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in Imola.
Let's see where we are in that race. Decide how we feel.
It'd be nice to actually go to Imola this year. Obviously, last year it was cancelled because of the horrible flooding in the area. So it'd be nice to be back there. I do quite like the track.
A good little track. I do enjoy this race, and it's at a normal time.
Yeah.
The 6 o'clock, the 8 o'clock, the 9 p.m. races were back to our 2 o'clock normal slots.
Yeah, it'll be quite normal for us for a while now, won't it? Now it's going into the European part of the season.
Yeah, we've got Canada in June, which is 7 o'clock. I can do that.
Yeah, that's
7's not bad.
Dinner. What more can you want? But
yeah,
mid-afternoons is good.
Yeah, I know. We did 3 really early ones in a row.
That was horrible.
And then to 9 o'clock in the evening. So it'd be nice.
I fell asleep at like 10 o'clock. I was like, oh my God, Timmy's got. And I was like, oh no, Lando's winning.
You were falling asleep, and then there was a safety car, and then
the safety car came out, and I was wide awake.
Yeah, I was pacing in my living room. I was standing up and sitting back down. I was shouting at my TV.
And they was thinking, what the hell's going on?
It was all going on. It was very stressful.
It is stressful. I know the feeling very, very well.
I was feeling tired before that race, but I was up until 2:30 after that.
Yeah.
Everything on TV, like, I've got to watch Ted's Notebook now. And
I sat and I watched. I had to watch everything, even though I always say, when a certain someone's there,
we don't mention names.
like the interviews and all of the coverage, I tend to avoid watching anything other than cars on track. But the only reason why I stayed and I watched it all after was because Lando.
She had to fall with it.
So I just had to grin and bear it.
There was a beautiful moment though when Simon Lazenby said they've had to go and get their flight. Like,
yes, I was just like,
bye.
And I don't mean Jensen, by the way. I love Jensen.
We love Jensen. Jensen and his facial expressions made the weekend for me. Oh, he just can't hide it, and it just makes me laugh.
No. Yes. Bless him. Yeah, it was a late one for me as well. I was just too excited to want to go to bed. Luckily, it was a bank holiday for us, so we had we could lie in if we could. So it was, yeah. I don't know, Jen, were you at work?
Yeah, I was at work. I think I stayed up till like I stayed up till about 1, and then I was like, nah, I need to go to bed. I'm up at like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my, that is very late.
I couldn't miss like all the aftermath of the Lando win, so I was all right. Just drank a few Monsters and Red Bulls, and I'm good to
go. So yeah, Imola next. See what we'll get from that. I don't really know. It's sort of unknownish, isn't it? Like I said, because we weren't there last year.
Do you know who's always gone well there, though?
Yeah, that is true.
Lando Norris.
Yeah.
So
it is, yeah. Yeah.
Piastri will have all the upgrades. We're making this very McLaren focused.
I know. We did pre-warn them at the beginning, though. We did pre-warn them.
But yeah, as you say, it'd be nice to go back racing there. And it's. I didn't realise how close it was to Ferrari. You know, for years it was obviously Monza is the home of Ferrari, but actually Imola is right on their doorstep. So good to go there for them as well. We should know. And I think a lot of teams are going to bring upgrades because it's so close to a lot of their bases.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot easier for them to bring the upgrades there. Yeah, it will be. I'm looking forward to it. I look forward to every race, really. I wasn't looking forward to Miami, but that's just because I don't really like Miami as a track. But, you know, look what it turned into.
It's all right now. We'll deal with it.
Our new favourite track, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. No, it's not my favourite, but it will definitely be my favourite race for a while. So yeah. Is there anything else anybody thinks, you know, we haven't talked about, want to talk about while we're here? You know, we like to waffle.
Logan. I feel really bad for Logan. Like, he's got to be gone. Like, sorry to him, but
his radio when he crashed. He was just like, "Did I do something wrong?" And I was just like, "Oh, Logan."
He's like, he knows, like, he's gone.
But you know, he's had his trouble. I mean, granted, it wasn't his fault on Sunday. But yeah, bless him.
So yeah, at least Williams have got their spare tub ready. But
yeah,
that is wild.
At least they've got a spare now. Yeah, poor Logan. I can't see him there next year, unfortunately, for him.
No, I think he's gone.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rumour, isn't there, about Kimi Antonelli? Whether he turns 18 I can't remember if it's just before or just after Monza, just before, I think. So he could have a super license by then, but obviously there was the news broke over the Miami weekend that Williams had a super license for him to be granted. I heard today that it might be for just to get him in testing the car, but we don't know. They're keen.
Yeah.
I don't think that they should be granting it before he's old enough, because then that sets a precedent for other people to say, well, hold on a minute, I want so and so to have this super license. I think they need to. I know we're talking about the FIA here. They need to be consistent in their rules and stick to what the rule is, and wait until he's old enough.
Yeah, I just feel like 17 is just a little bit too young to be getting in an F1 car.
He hasn't been racing cars for very long. I know probably had less time in cars, but he's racing in Formula 2. He's done 3 rounds, maybe, of Formula 2? 2 rounds? 3 rounds.
I think it's 3.
So
can't remember.
He's not had long even in that car, and that's a step up from what he's driven before. And so to suddenly go, well, we know you've done okay in Formula 2. He hasn't won any races, he hasn't set Formula 2 alight.
No.
Suddenly go, okay, and now we're going to step you up again after 3 rounds. It's balmy for me. I'd say maybe test him if they intend to put him in by Monza. You know, suddenly just chuck him in, but yeah.
I think as well, like you said, he hasn't, been, incredible.
No.
I think if he'd been doing incredible and he was setting all of these, he was winning races and doing all of this excellent stuff, then I could maybe understand it a little bit more. but there's other drivers that are in these categories that are doing a lot better, to be honest. So it's just another one of those again that it frustrates me that the really talented drivers aren't getting the recognition over potentially, I don't know if he's got a lot of money, a lot of backing behind him, or I don't know. Crazy.
Rated. So we can expect something for him in the future, but that's in the future.
Yeah.
Don't rush it. Don't destroy him by putting him in too early and it not happening, because we've seen it in the past. Grosjean was put through too quickly, and then they moved him back to GP2 as it was then.
Yeah.
He came back. He was still okay, maybe, but he was better than what he was. So, yeah.
Yeah. I suppose that's another thing to watch out for, see what happens there.
Who knows? Everyone could be going everywhere.
Yeah, that's I think by this summer break we'll probably see maybe a better picture of how it's going to look for next year, but then some people might decide to wait right up until the end of the season.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that'll be something to watch out for as it happens.
Yeah. More rumours are probably flying over the next week while we've not got a race on. So
yeah, we'll see. Well, I think we're done, wouldn't you say?
Yes. Lando on a race. It was a great time.
Yeah, Lando won.
Imola.
Very happy.
McLaren won too.
Imola next. Yeah, McLaren won too. Okay, well then, thank you, Perry, for joining us.
Yes, thank you again for coming on. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you very much for having me. It's always my pleasure to join. What I'm trying to say. It's always. Thank you very much.
You're okay, and we will have Kay back with us for Imola. We'll see you then.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye bye.